وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ, and rush to forgiveness from your master. One of my favorite passages in the Quran, this passage calls believers to go to Jannah. It begins with Jannah and it ends with Jannah, and it mentions believers messing up in the middle. So it's the mistakes of the believers are mentioned in the middle, but the beginning and end is Jannah. This is a khutbah I gave, I think, in Irvine or something, I remember some time ago. But anyway, وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ, and rush to forgiveness that comes from your master. وَجَنَّةٍ عَرْضُهَا السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضِ, and a Jannah, a garden, whose expanse is the skies and the earth. أُعِدَّتْ, it has been thoroughly prepared, completely prepared for people that have taqwa. Allahumma ja'alna minhum. For the people of taqwa who are cautious. This time the people of caution are given characteristics, qualities. Who are these people of taqwa? What does that mean practically? الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ فِي السَّرَّاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ, the opposite of riba. Riba is you hold on to your money so it can multiply and you can collect more. The opposite is you keep giving it up. Those who spend, the muttaqeen who spend in as-sarra'i wad-darra, in easy times and in hard times. Darra, when times are hard and tough. وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ. So first of all, you have an attitude of spending all the time. You never spare an opportunity for that. The second is al-kazimin al-ghayz. Kazama can mean to swallow. One of its meanings is to swallow. But there's another meaning also. They say, for example, kazama siqa'a. A siqa is the container of water. When you fill it to the top and then close it, so no water gets out, but it's got to be filled to the top, that's kazama, to fill something to the top. Kazim or kazim is a person, they say is, or actually before that, kazm. Kazm, the word kazm, the ism, is actually for the nasal passage. And the Arabs would, in their imagery, and they would speak figuratively, they would say when someone's angry, they're kazim, which means their nasal passage is full of anger up to here. Like all the way up to the end of their nasal passage, they're filled with anger. Okay? You know, people say, I've had it up to here. I had it up to there. Well, they'd say they've had it up to here. Like their breathing is now filled with rage. But it hasn't come out yet. In other words, Kazim is someone who's extremely enraged, but it hasn't left the insides of him yet. Hasn't come out yet. So those who swallow or keep inside al-ghayz, the anger that rushes, makes your blood rush. The anger that makes you just go, and you clench your fist, and you start shaking. This is al-ghayz, okay? But ghayz also is the kind of anger that it's still before retaliation. It's what you feel before retaliation. You could say anger is bad if you do something about it. But if you just sit there and you just make faces and just go grrr, then it's not bad. Well, actually, if you do something about it, that's called ghadab. That's the kind of anger that's called ghadab. Short of that is ghayz. Ghadab is you're so angry, you're ready to do something, whatever it may be. Musa alayhi salam came back to his nation, ghadbana asifan. He came with ghadab. Did he do something? Oh yeah. Okay. Ghayz is you have rage, but you don't do something about it yet. Even that isn't a good thing. You can't even say, oh, I got angry, but I didn't do anything. Allah is saying it shouldn't even. The people of taqwa, yes, they feel angry, but they have self-control enough that they're able to swallow it, not even let it show on their face. That's the kind of self-control they have on themselves. وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ, and those who lovingly pardon. Al-afu also means to not punish. It also means someone who was ready for punishment, you had the power to punish them, and you decided, no, it's okay. Clean slate for you. This is al-afu. وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ, and those who are ready and willing to pardon people. وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ, and Allah, He loves those who excel. Allah, in fact, is the one who loves those who excel. So the ayah began with taqwa, and it graduates to ihsan. That's an important observation. Taqwa is already there, but people who, because of their taqwa, are able to accomplish these qualities in their life, then they will have reached the highest state that the believer can enjoy, and that is of ihsan. The same progression of how taqwa leads to ihsan will be mentioned in Surah Al-Ma'idah. ثُمَّ اتَّقَوْا وَآمَنُوا ثُمَّ اتَّقَوْا أَحْسَنُوا. That taqwa leading to ihsan will be mentioned later on also. Now Allah mentions these same people of taqwa, they're going to have to spend when it's easy, when it's hard, implying it's not always going to be easy for them to spend. Their anger will be tested. People will do offenses against them, and they will use that opportunity to find forgiveness for them. Then Allah adds, وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا فَعَلُوا فَاحِشَةً. Those are the very people that if and when when the situation arises that they have committed mindlessly, fa'alu, they didn't think about it, they just did it, they were impulsive. Fahisha is anything that brings you close to zina. The Shari'i technical definition that Mufassirun give, al-fahisha hiya allati tuqarribuka ila zina. Whatever will bring you close to fornication, adultery, that's fahisha. Whether that be a glance, whether that be something you're looking at online, whether it's something on a computer or TV screen, whether it's filthy words, whether it's filthy music, whatever it may be, it can take many forms. In simple terms, you can say whatever's lewd, shameless, vulgar, indecent, this fahish. Okay? And it says fahishatan, it's nakira, which implies they mindlessly do any act of shamelessness, it happens. They did something indecent and they got impulsive and they committed such an act. Not the worst of it, zina, anything short of that too. أَوْ ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ, or wrong themselves in any other way. In other words, fahisha is not the only kind of wrongdoing. Maybe they got angry and said something they shouldn't have said. They weren't able to swallow their anger, right? And they said something. Maybe they got jealous. Maybe they lied. Maybe they cheated. Maybe to just get away from trouble with their parents, they kind of made a little white lie. Not that harmful, but they, how's it going? Everything's fine. Yes, it's okay. Where are you? In the masjid. You're not in the masjid. Okay. Did you go to class? Yes, of course. Of course I was in class. So it's not that big of a deal. Any other kind of wrongdoing also, dhakarullah, they immediately remembered Allah. This is actually a very powerful lesson in our deen. People will do wrong. Even people of taqwa, Allah describes not in fa'alu, idha fa'alu. It's not an if, it's a when. It's not if they do something wrong, it's when they do something wrong. It's an inevitability. Human beings will do something wrong, whether they're muttaqeen or not. We're not perfect. We're not angels. The question is, what do you do after you make the mistake? When someone does something wrong, especially people that are close to Allah, shaitan is waiting for them to make a mistake. He's trying hard to get them to make a mistake. And once they do, he says, you have just been lowered in the sight of Allah. He basically wants to repeat his experience. Just like he was lowered in the sight of Allah, so he wants to make you feel like you've been lowered in the sight of Allah. You have no hope left. How are you going to turn back to Allah now? After disobeying like this, you hypocrite. You should stop doing whatever you're doing. It's all for show anyway. So he'll tell you in your head, why are you wearing hijab anymore? You just watched a movie. Right? Why are you just doing it to show off to people? Take it off. You don't need that anymore. Don't make your situation worse. Why do you go to masjid to pray? After you've been hanging out with those guys over there and you've been using filthy language, or you played a video game for 12 hours straight, right? Why are you even going to go to the masjid now, you hypocrite, just to show people that you're religious? Don't even go anymore. So shaitan will use your mistake to convince you to not do the things you're supposed to be doing anyway. And in your head you'll just say, because I don't do this, why should I do that? It's not like it counts. I don't want to do it to show off. I want to have the right reasons to do it. A lot of people come to me and say, brother, I want to wear hijab, but I just want to have the right reasons, I'm not quite ready. Or I want to start praying, but I want to have the right reasons. I was like, you already have the right reasons. Why are you playing word games with yourself? Stop kidding yourself. You want to do it, do it. No, I don't want to do it because my parents want you to do it. Well, it's not your parents. It's not your friends. The reasons are clear. If you're going to do it, do it. I'm not saying you're a bad person or this or that, but don't kid yourself. Be honest with yourself. Just be honest with yourself. Don't say, I don't think, you feel I'm not courageous enough. People will say things, people look at me funny, I feel kind of awkward when I wear it. Fine. Those are legitimate. At least you're honest. At least you're saying, but I'm not quite sure if I'm doing it for the right reasons. I'm not quite sure what that means. What language that is. That's the shaitan messing with you. That's all that is. Okay? May Allah give people courage to do the right thing. May Allah give our guys the courage to lower their eyes, watch their mouths, not become a different person among different friends. To not do that, to not be a different person when you're by yourself, to remain on taqwa. But these are hard things to live by, easy things to talk about, right? For all of us, myself included. But this is, if you could do that, then you haven't fallen into the trap of shaitan. Shaitan wants you to get away. I'll give you a quick example of this. If I disappoint my mother, back in the day, I get a report card, and one of those report cards that aren't handwritten, so you can't even manipulate the number a little bit, it's typed. So you got to show it to her, and it's a D, or it's a 60, or 55, or it's an F or something, right? And when she is disappointed and humiliated with you, don't you, before you even show her, avoid eye contact? You're trying to not talk to her. You usually come into the house, drop the book back. Mom, where's lunch? But the report card day, you sneak into the house. You don't drop your book back. You tippy-toe into your room and pretend to go to sleep. You avoid contact because you're about to meet someone you have what? Disappointed. Employee comes in late to the office. What does he do? He goes in. He sneaks into his cubicle like, if there was a way to get in through the window, he would use it. Right? Because he has to go through the office, like the boss got a window office, so you have to walk right past him. So he goes the long way, takes the fire exit, and gets into his seat. And then the boss comes, hey, how's it going? Avoid contact with the one you've disappointed. Shaitan uses that sentiment, which is natural, to his advantage and says, hey, why are you going to go talk to Allah now? Avoid contact. You just disappointed him. What are you going to go pray for now? When someone's disappointed Allah, they'd want to be like, how can I face Allah now? And it's a natural sentiment, but he uses that to his advantage to distance you. Allah says, these people of taqwa, they know where they're going to go. There's not even a fa, there's not even a thumma, there's not even a wa. It's just, وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا فَعَلُوا فَاحِشَةً أَوْ ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ ذَكَرُوا اللَّهَ. There's not fa ذَكَرُوا اللَّهِ, thumma ذَكَرُوا اللَّهِ, إِذًا ذَكَرُوا, nothing. Immediately, they mention Allah. Allah. And if you're in the middle of sin, just saying Allah will hurt. Just saying SubhanAllah will hurt. You're going to think twice. Should I say Alhamdulillah? I'm in a movie theater. Should I say Alhamdulillah? Astaghfirullah over here? Should I say that? But I'll wait. That means taqwa is missing. If you could say Astaghfirullah and walk out, that's taqwa. That's when you know you got taqwa. Maybe your friends dragged you into a concert. You're jamming, and all of a sudden it's something, this is wrong. You saw the sun going down, it's Maghrib, it's like, how can I be doing this? Now, you're in your head there's an Astaghfirullah, but it hasn't reached here yet. It has, At that point, if you could just say Astaghfirullah and walk out, that's taqwa. Because you're not saying it to anybody else. You're saying it to him. You know where you're going to go. I gave the example in that old khutbah I gave. A child is in trouble with its mom. His mom. In the middle of a mall. And this was in Saudi, so they can in the mall too, right? It's all good. It's a 6-year-old boy messing around, throwing toys in the store. His mama grabs him and gives a good one. On his behind. And what does he do? Mama. And she's getting angrier, and he knows, where am I going to go? These ugly strangers? No, I'm going to go, I stay. My whole world is my mother. I can't go anywhere else. When you and I make mistakes, we have to come to terms with the fact, where are you going to go? Who are you going to run to? Who are you avoiding? The one you can't be avoided. So Allah says, فَاسْتَغْفِرُوا لِذُنُوبِهِمْ. Then they ask forgiveness for their sins. وَمَنْ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ. Who's going to cover your sins other than Allah anyway? You're trying to hide from Allah? Where are you going to go anyway? وَمَنْ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ وَلَمْ يُصِرُّوا عَلَى مَا فَعَلُوا. But he adds a condition for these people of taqwa. The problem isn't they won't make a mistake. The problem is, 1, they won't remember Allah immediately. 2, they won't ask Allah immediately for forgiveness. They won't realize I've got nowhere else to turn. They'll forget that when the time comes. And 3, this is the critical thing. They won't insist upon what they did. Sarratun is a bag that is tied. It's got money in it, it's tied up. It's sarratun, it's called. Okay? Something that is you're not letting go of. Because you tied it to protect it, and you let go, you hold it in your hand, you don't let go of it. Because it's got money in it. It's sarratun. Okay? Asarra yusirru in Arabic means to insist on something and not let go. You're addicted. You can't let go. This is israr with a sad. لَمْ يُصِرُّوا عَلَى مَا فَعَلُوا. They didn't insist upon what they did. They didn't insist upon what they did. In other places in the Quran, Allah complains about a certain group of people. He says, وَكَانُوا يُصِرُّونَ عَلَى الْحِنْثِ الْعَظِيمِ. They used to insist on the ugliest sin, the nastiest sin. These are people, even if it's a small thing, they don't insist on it. This is actually a review of a lesson already taught in Baqarah. بَلَا مَنْ كَسَبَ سَيِّئَةً وَأَحَاطَتْ بِهِ خَطِيئَتُهُ. It's a review of that lesson. Whoever earned a sin, and his sin took hold, it encircled him. It took hold of him. How does one sin take a hold of a person? They're addicted to it, they can't let go of it. Allah says this is the process of a person. He does something messed up, she does something messed up, astaghfirullah. 2 weeks later, same exact thing, astaghfirullah. And as they say astaghfirullah, they're in their head, I'll probably be doing this in 2 exact weeks. And then again, I'll say what again? Astaghfirullah. It's like they've scheduled their sin. I know I'm going to do it anyway. I can't help myself anyway. In other words, what لَمْ يُصِرُّوا عَلَى مَا فَعَلُوا is saying they haven't caved into their sin. They haven't let their sin win. They haven't said to themselves, even subconsciously, yeah, I'll be doing this again anyway. I've come to terms with the fact that I'm a continuous, an addicted sinner. They haven't done that. They haven't given up on themselves like that. And those are games being played with Allah Azza wa Jal. You will notice, inshallah, when we get to Surah An-Nisa, there will be a review and a continuation of this particular lesson. People who keep making tawbah as a habit. And they keep doing sins, and they keep making tawbah, and they keep doing sins, and they keep making tawbah. It's become a joke to them. وَلَمْ يُصِرُّوا عَلَى مَا فَعَلُوا. And they didn't insist upon what they committed. وَهُمْ يَعْلَمُونَ. While they full know what they're doing. They're the ones, in fact, that know what they're up to. أُولَٰئِكَ جَزَاؤُهُمْ مَغْفِرَةٌ مِّن رَبِّهِمْ. Those are the ones. Their compensation is forgiveness from their master. وَجَنَّاتٌ تَجْرِي مِن تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا. And multitudes of gardens, at the bottoms of which rivers are going to be flowing from right underneath them. They'll remain in it permanently. Remember, سَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ وَجَنَّةٍ. It already started with, this Jannah has been prepared for muttaqeen. And here's what the muttaqeen look like. And those are the people that are going to get Jannah. It started with Jannah, it ends with Jannah, and it's got sinful people in the middle. It's amazing. It's just because, what do you do with those sins? What's your response to those sins? You use those sins, if they happen to even get closer to Allah, and develop the right attitude towards taqwa, and towards tawbah also. أُولَٰئِكَ جَزَاؤُهُمْ مَغْفِرَةٌ مِّن رَبِّهِمْ وَجَنَّاتٌ تَجْرِي مِن تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا وَنِعْمَ أَجْرُ الْعَامِلِينَ. And what an amazing compensation. Ni'ma is one of the verbs that's used in Arabic called أسلوب التعجب, أفعال التعجب, verbs that express amazement. This is Allah expressing amazement at the quality of reward that they're going to get. It's not a believer looking at it and saying, wow, ni'ma dar, what an amazing house. Allah is saying, ni'ma ajrul amilin, what an awesome compensation of those who put themselves to work. What an awesome compensation of workers. Amila ya'malu amalan fahuwa amil. Amila, he worked. Amil, a worker. Those who put themselves to work. He didn't say muttaqeen, mu'mineen, he said amilin. What is that suggesting? Get to work. Do something. Change yourself. Ni'ma ajrul amilin. Notice there's also a contrast between لم يصروا على ما فعلوا فعل فعل يفعلوا فعلا and عمل يعمل عملا. فعل and عمل. فعل is mindless. Breathing is a fi'l. Listening, hearing is a fi'l. Listening is a amal. That's a good example of understanding. Okay? Listening is a amal, but hearing something is a fi'l. When something's done, you don't require any conscious effort, that's fi'l. When it's intended, it's conscious, you put an effort into it with intent, that's amal. Make the intention and put yourselves to work. That also implies all the deeds we do, we should be conscious of what we're doing, even the good deeds. We should remind ourselves why we're doing them. Why am I praying? Why am I praying 4 rak'ah? Why am I saying Subhana Rabbi al-Azim in ruku'? You've got to remind yourself, because otherwise it just becomes Subhanallah. It's one of those hit and run salawat, you know? That's what I call them, hit and run, like boom, boom, run. So, قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ سُنَنٌ. Much before you, many examples, many legacies have already come and gone. Khala yakhlu, to be gone. Okay, to be in solitude, also to be gone. From much before you, legacies have come and gone. فَسِيرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Then go around and walk around in the earth. كَيْفَ كَانَ عَاقِبَةُ الْمُكَذِّبِينَ. What became the outcome of those who lied against the truth? Those who attributed lies to the truth. This is being mentioned here as a continuation of what your personal change is in these ayat of tawbah, of istighfar, of people becoming people of taqwa, who spend, etc., etc. But then there are people who hear all of this and do nothing about it. And when a nation of people became like that, when a huge number of people became like that, what did Allah do with those people? They had the most amazing guidance and they trashed it, they put it on the side. It was a joke to them. It was just empty speech to them. There was no amal involved, right? So what came of those nations? What was the outcome of those who attributed lies to the deen? هَذَا بَيَانٌ لِلنَّاسِ. This is a clear communication for people. Bayan. I know Urdu speakers use there's going to be a bayan after the salat, right? As meaning of a lecture. But bayan is not a lecture. Bayan actually means clarification. From bana, to distinguish between things. Bayyin, absolutely clear. Bayan, a speech that is extremely clear. A clarification to something. This is an open clarification for all people. وَهُدًى, and it is a guidance. وَمَوْعِظَةٌ, and it also happens to be advice that penetrates into the heart. مَوْعِظَة, advice that goes deep inside the heart. لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, for people that have taqwa. You know, there are degrees of advice, and inshallah ta'ala later on in Surah Yunus we'll see, I'll talk to you more about maw'idha. جَاءَتْكُمْ مَوْعِظَةٌ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ. But just a little bit about it, one should know that maw'idha is the kind of advice that actually makes it all the way inside you. You feel something when you hear it. A lot of times you get advice, you don't feel anything. You yawn in its face. Or you say, thanks. Or can we change the subject? You don't really get affected by it. Other times, it can come from the strangest places, but you hear it and it really affects you. It really goes deep inside. That's maw'idha. If it goes a little bit inside, it's wa'adh. If it goes all the way in, it's maw'idha. It's masdar mimi, it's called. And the tam al-buta at the end is for hyperbolizing it too. That's the kind of hyperbole or mubalagha I haven't taught you guys yet.